What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my only review of the Belle Collective. So I'm gonna do the original Belle Collective first, then I'm gonna do the premiere for Belle Collective in Birmingham. All right. So we have the Pearsons and the Rodgers. They have a double date. You know, Cliff wanted to sign them up for a cooking class because food brings people together. That is very true, and he kind of want them to hang out like they used to. Okay. What's crazy to me is seeing Glenn and Letitia walk up holding hands, looking cute. Girl, this is why nobody's gonna take you seriously, Letitia. That you really are trying to navigate you having a voice in your marriage at this point, and you're not standing on your boundaries. Like, fine. So Latrice talks about how Cliff loves her cooking and that she always loves to cook. Girl, you just made steak for the first time, I believe. You gave him expired mashed potatoes, expired butter. There was nothing in your fridge, right? So what do you mean he enjoys your cooking? I think you know how to cook, but I also think you really don't want to cook. Either way. But yes, anything you make, Cliff is gonna eat. So they were making an Italian dish, and Glenn, he wanted to make a joke about what's the word I'm looking for? Misplacing polenta for placenta. He thought placenta was the grits, but polenta is the grits, and it's like, ew. Glenn, that joke I really didn't appreciate. So then they talk about Tambra's event, how they had a good time. They learned a lot more about Tambra. Latrice already knows this about Tambra, but she does appreciate her opening up more. Letitia is very happy. She did not know that her daughter was born under 5 pounds. And Glenn couldn't stop looking at the fibroids photo and asking Latrice, wait, don't you have fibroids too? She said, I do, and I did have surgery before to remove them, but now I have to go back for another surgery that is coming up. And because of that, I have come to the conclusion that I want to have a baby. So they all were like, oh, wow, congratulations. But Cliff is like, girl, you too little too late now. I wanted a baby 2 or 3 years ago. All right. And we did remember from the flashback that she did have a pregnancy scare and she took a test and it was negative and it wasn't the right time. But Latrice said her whole reasoning as to why she wants to have a baby is because while she was in the hospital where Cliff had left her and her mom stayed, she figured if I had a baby, then that baby would never leave my side. That baby will always be with me. Now, I get it. Having a baby will give you unconditional love that you have never felt before, but I don't think that that is a real reason for you to have a baby. It sounds to me you want to have a placeholder in case Cliff doesn't stay the way you want him to stay. That's not a good enough reason, I'm hearing. So now he is saying that he is older now, so that time has passed. But you were already older in the beginning, Cliff. You were already past your prime to even think about having any more children. Keep in mind, men can have kids well after their 50s, but too little too late. And I think that once he was in that space, he has moved on from that space. He's not in that space anymore. And he doesn't want to be up all night with a baby. And she said, let's hire a nanny. Yes, no. That also gives me the belief that that's going to be your responsibility. That's going to be your baby. While he'll probably do what he do, but he is not going to showcase the same happiness that you are going to have with wanting that baby. So we also talk about how are Glenn and Letitia? Are they in a better place now since they have removed sex? She said it has opened another door for clarity where she's able to think more, be able to act on things better without having her mind all over the place. He also agrees that it is another way for them to open up the door for intimacy, but he really wants to be into her. Then he's talking about how it's embarrassing that he is not having sex with his wife, and it is embarrassing to talk about it to another happy couple that I'm not having sex in my marriage. I don't think they are either, Glenn. But I also think that you really are not taking in this new leaf on how Letitia wants to move forward and really try to connect with her and understand her. You are still being the same old Glenn that wants Letitia to be back to who she used to be, and that's not what that is. So while the double date is going really well, Latrice said that they are the head Belle, so when we're good, then everybody is good. Okay, who I don't know who made y'all the head bells, because I don't think you guys are the head bells. You guys are a collective of women who shine on their own. Y'all are not leaders. Y'all aren't. Y'all are leaders of your own right as far as leading your own life and everything, but you guys aren't the leader of the group. Y'all not. Then Letitia throws out Kerri of being a flip flopper, and I really need somebody to understand what is it that Kerri did. All right, and again, Latrice still is on that same type of feeling. She didn't like that Kerri threw her husband under the bus to expose what the rumor was, but that's exactly what he did, Latrice. He did exactly that. So what makes you think she threw him under the bus if she said exactly what he did? So we talk about when they met up at Taste. And of course, Kerri said she just figured it was just throwing off the guys just to say it was, but that's not how it was. She heard it from Matt, who heard it from Cliff. So I need you to make it make sense. Your husband's being messy, point blank, period. Your husband was spreading gossip. You can't fault nobody but your husband. And Letitia, you really aren't a friend of Kerri's, so you want to call her a flip flopper. But if this information is something that's not a big deal, then why are y'all making it a big deal? If it's not even real, like, why are we still going on about it? Why are we still dragging this out? And why are we still trying to find the mystery person who originated the rumor when you guys have pretty much said how the rumor got started? It was based off of a photo that Glenn did that somebody commented under. So why are y'all trying to paint it off as if Kerri did it? I don't really like that. Like, I'm so confused. Like, how is it that she heard it from a different person, or she heard it somewhere else, and she heard it from Matt, who heard it from Cliff, and Cliff ended up admitting that he did tell Matt. So there you have it. So Latrice, I don't know why you're giving all this smoke to Kerri like she threw your husband on the bus when she actually didn't. And Cliff, your whole rhetoric about how you just gave Matt an update just to keep him informed, you wasn't gossiping, you're not a woman, whatever. However you decide to sell, it is still gossip, no matter how you try to explain it. You told somebody else information that you heard. Here it is. Like, I don't know. Are they mad that their husbands didn't tell them? Because that's also what was revealed. Glenn didn't tell Letitia, and Latrice didn't tell Cliff. Like, are y'all making it an issue that Matt told Kerri? Like, I'm so confused right there, because I don't see how Kerri's being a flip-flopper, and I don't see her lying about anything. Like, that's weird. And speaking of Kerri, we move on to Kerri. She is on the coast, overseeing her restaurant, back there cooking some eggs. We see her mom pop up, and she wish her mom did not have to stop by today, because now she's about to have a tragic business moment. She's about to have a multi-figure conversation with her mother that she doesn't want to have. Matt also came by, and they want to know what is going on with the mobile location. They did put on the market. They had a potential buyer, but he might not be able to acquire the loan to buy it. So now it's back on the market. While it is on the market, they are still bleeding money. You know what I'm saying? She still has to do the upkeep of keeping the place open until somebody buys it. And she also said she put about 5 figures of her influencer money to keep that location of Brick and Spoon open in Mobile, Alabama. That's crazy. And both her and Matt are literally telling her, you need to just go ahead and let it go. Just let it go. And it's like she's trying. You know what I'm saying? She had the conversation about putting on the market. Somebody was interested, but other than that, she can't have other people interested. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of buyers that are ready to buy this property. What else do you want me to do? She said, if I can't sell it, then I'm going to have to close the doors. And they were like, close the doors. Well, she don't want to be left with no bill. I'm going to be left with a bill. And they figured you should just pay the rent and let everything else go. And then she's looking at the employees. I have over 20 people working for me. Like, I have to make sure I don't, let them just lose their jobs. I have to figure out a way to still cover for them, right? Well, you're going to have to come up with a severance pay for them and let them know we're shutting down the business. And I'm just going to have to let y'all go, but I'm not going to leave y'all empty handed. Like, there are a lot of factors in this where she just can say, close the doors. You know what I'm saying? And I can see that this is a real conversation that Kerri is very frustrated into having. And I do know that Kerri don't want to add any more than what she's already paying for. And I really understand her feelings about how she wanted to fight until the fight was over. And I see her in the midst of doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they're not making this fair for her. They are just telling her to let it go. And if the more you hold on to it, the more we're going to be in debt. And that's going to affect the kids. She gets emotional. She said, I'm doing this for my kids. You know what I'm saying? You think I want to work 5 jobs for no reason? I want us to be good. That's why I want the kids to see mommy is doing good. So Matt called her out for being selfish, that while you know what you're supposed to do and you don't want to do it. I think that it's not just about her being selfish. I think it's just the fact that she doesn't know how else to handle this without it looking like she's not doing her part, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then her husband also pointed out that you also got a husband who provides as well. Like, I pay the bills. You don't pay the bills at the house because your man got that. And I think so. I feel like, as far as Matt telling her, we're good, you got a husband who takes care of the bills at home, our kids are straight. I think she's also looking at how the availability of having that extra income might not be ready, or might not be just sitting there once Matt finally leaves his company. Once he goes off and ventures into his own business, she's probably worried that there won't be any extra money for him to just be able to go out and be supported in that way. So that's why she said it probably wasn't a good time for the mobile location to be closed, as well as him leaving his company. So she wants to make sure there's some type of extra cushion laying down. There's extra cushion laying around for them to have that comfortability to transition into a new territory, as well as her closing down one business, as well as Matt opening up a new one. So that could also be the case. But anyway, throughout that scene, I got what Matt and her mother was saying. Her mother was very blunt, straightforward, but I do think that there should be a bit of grace there, because she is making the changes. She is making necessary decisions, but it's not going to happen overnight the way y'all think it is. It's going to take some time. While she needs to close, y'all got to give her the proper space to really do it. But moving on. All right, so now we have Latrice. Latrice still feels some type of way about what happened on their double date. That Cliff made a joke about having a vasectomy because he doesn't want a baby. And she don't like that he plays too much games. She don't like that. She don't like that he plays too much. And she wants to have a serious conversation before surgery, and how she handles almost everything and anything when it comes to taste. And if she's not at the capacity she needs to be to do what she needs to do to make sure taste is running, she wants to know if Cliff can take care of that while she's recovering. So she does this type of relationship exercise she got from TikTok, so that way they can provide a safe face-to-face conversation, and letting him know, my surgery is going to require for me to be recovering for about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, I want to know, are you going to be able to manage things while I'm recovering? Now, I don't know if she's going to be managing things as well, but I think as far as like what she will do from the time that she is recovering, she just wants to make sure she's not overextending herself. Like, she's not moving too much. She's not having to stress herself out for having to do everything. Like, she wants to be sure she can lean on him to figure things out if she can't do it. But I don't know. For me, it's just like Cliff is not really paying attention. Like, he's just dismissing all the work that she does as if all she does is click on a button. Like, she's not doing nothing heavy. Like, she's not being physical with how much work she's doing. It's exhausting to look at a screen all day, Cliff. It's exhausting having to put out emails, have constant conversations, meetings, set up scheduling. She oversees payroll. Like, she does a whole lot more than just sitting in one place, And then he wants to brag about how he's been in business for over 30 years. He owns several businesses. I know what needs to get done. I know how to oversee things. Yeah, but you know how to oversee things that requires you to be physical. You're not looking at like the base of operations. A business can't run because you built it. You have to look at the technical things. You know what I'm saying? Like, she oversees social media. She oversees the employees. She talks to lawyers. She talks about what's going on with the city. Like, she has meetings every day back to back of making sure their business is up and running, like making constant phone calls. Are you going to be able to do that as well? Or are you looking at the physicality of what it is that she needs to get done? No. It's all in one. Okay? Everything needs to make sure everything is up and running. Not just the physical aspect of having the business built up. You have to work on making sure it's a well-oiled running machine on the inside too. So don't try to dismiss the fact that because all she does is push a button and that's not her doing her job. Like, please stop doing that. So then she brings up that he left her on their anniversary and on her birthday, and she wants to know, where did he go? He said, you know where I went. I went check on your business that you weren't checking in on. So I checked on it like you asked me to. She looked at the cameras, saw that he was at Taste and he was drinking, and then he ended up staying there. That he did not come back to the hospital. He said he came back in the morning, and it was just kind of like, what was the reason why you couldn't just come back to the hospital? Now, I know the first time she said that you left to go get lunch. So you also left to go check on Taste, and you ended up getting a cocktail or two and staying over. Y'all would have felt some type of way, because what the hell are you doing over there? You're supposed to do what you need to do and come back to me. So I think all she wanted for him was to just showcase how much he loves her. And while going through this surgery, you should still do what you're supposed to, maybe feel better. And on top of when you left me, it was on our anniversary and it was leading towards my birthday. You didn't do anything to make me feel better. Excuse me. Like, you didn't think to return with some flowers. You didn't think to return with anything that could make me feel special. Like, you didn't do anything like that, you know? And she goes back to her feeling that no man has ever stayed. You know, her father was never around. Her brothers passed away. She has gone to the point where she will never forgive him for leaving like that. And then he apologized. And yeah, she was like, you know, life happened, moved on. It's like she still wants him to still showcase how he loves her, still showcase how he'll still fight to make her feel special, make her feel happy, but not to appear needy and clingy for always wanting her man there. You know what I'm saying? But Latrice, you've known this man for a very long time. You know how he's not that type of person. He's not affectionate. He's not compassionate. He's not none of that. He's a man set in his ways, a man from a very different time where the only thing he thinks that is worthy of being a equal partner is providing. You know, all that emotional stuff, that's not what he does. And he always like to separate himself from what a man does than what a woman does. You know what I'm saying? Men don't think like women. Okay, that's not even the point though. If I need something from you, or I need something of you to do to make me feel special, you being my husband, you supposed to show up and do it. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's just like Latrice always makes excuses for what she wants out of Cliff and just chalks it up with what that's just who he is, but then she still wants him to still act on what she wants from him. Act on or still trying to, you know, make sure she feels special at times. Make him do nice things for her, you know? So they held hands and both discussed about what is they love about one another, and that every relationship is going to go through things, and they've gone through the worst, but they've always figured it out. And this is the first step of having a real conversation, and that they're going to return to another conversation that's going to end up in a better way, and everything got cleared up. Okay, Latrice, fine. You talk to your husband, you express how you felt, cool. Selena came back from her trip to Colombia with her new pearly whites. She stopped in by Tambra's job, and we noticed her teeth. Her teeth do look good, but when she was out there in Colombia, she didn't think to tell the dentist about her having high blood pressure, and that she also was taking high blood pressure medicine, even though she don't take it. So when they were putting the anesthesia in to numb her mouth, her blood pressure kept getting higher and higher. So they didn't want her to be at risk of a heart attack. So they had to do the procedure throughout the number of days. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is this, though, Selena, how can you be irresponsible to the point where you did not think it made sense for you to tell the dentist that you also have high blood pressure and that you take high blood pressure medication? They should know this about you. When they are about to sit you down, they give you a checklist about what are you allergic of? Do you have any prescriptions? Do you have any other health conditions? They ask this of you. So we talk about Tambra and her sip and see of everything that she's done in her life. People don't act like they know her, and how it ended with her biggest accomplishment is her daughter. And then we just talk about we don't want rumors in the group. We're talking moving forward, right? And she thinks Shantae is the outside rumor and we shouldn't bring the outside in. And I agree. So anytime that I see you, you're going to be prepared to give me some shit that I don't want to hear. It doesn't make any sense as to why an outside person is bringing in rumors into this group, and who brings rumors to their friends. I agree with Tambra. That makes no sense whatsoever. But y'all need to look at who's bringing the rumors in. It's Letitia. How is Letitia, the main one who's talking about we don't want to bring rumors into the group, we don't want to bring mess into the group, when you're bringing the mess into the group? And her name is Shantae. Fuck out of that shit though, Tisha. Move on. So now we have Cliff. Cliff has a guys' night out. Now that Latrice is good with Glenn, he can bring all the guys together. They were at this cold tent that Matt explained, okay? It was a man cave that Cliff has been trying to fix up, but it's not completed. And you can tell it was cold out there because anytime that these men were talking, you can see the cold air coming out of their mouths. It must have been below degrees out there, okay? So then Glenn thought he was funny when he came in with a diaper bag with a little bunny, some Pampers, and some wipes to make fun of Mike and his baby rumor situation. Mike said, listen, if I was in your shoes, I would have been crying right now. And I agree because, Glenn, you just got off that situation. And now you want to joke at someone else's expense? Yeah, that's not funny whatsoever. Because you cannot laugh at nobody, Glenn, because you were literally in that same position when it was a proven thing that you were messing around with somebody and that person might have said, oh, I might have had your child. Get the fuck out of here. So you like to laugh at other people's expense, Glenn, but you don't want nobody to do it to you because you are not in the room to make a joke about nobody's rumor, nobody's situation. All right. So now it came down to the rumor and everybody's laughing about it. But, Mike, he don't feel no way about the rumor, but he knows that Selena is worried about it. And he said that him and Cliff talked about it, but Mike want to know who else that he told. You know what I'm saying? They go back to the picture. Nobody else put a name on it as to who was having the baby. And I don't know. It just ended off with Cliff not being honest that he told Matt, and he just kept saying, hey, it was what it was. But either way, I don't know why we are still going off on this when it's not true. So then, talk about Selena's teeth and that Mike was mostly upset that Selena didn't think to tell the dentist she has high blood pressure and that she also is on high blood pressure medication. But when they asked her, do you have any other diseases? She didn't think it was anything like that. She thought it was like HIV or something. So she never thought, oh, underlying health conditions could have been something that I should have revealed. So because of the way they had to space out to get her teeth done, there was a possibility she could have came back with gator teeth. Because they had to be mindful about how not to give her too many doses or it would have spiked up her heart rate. And Mike said it was a very scary thing to witness, watching her high blood pressure go up extremely high because something could have came out of that. You're in an area you're not familiar with and you worry about what could have happened to her and her children, and I agree. And Selena said the same thing. Like, she wants to be here to watch her oldest daughter have a baby. She wants to watch her grandchildren grow up. So she should have been more responsible and more upfront about her issues that was concerning her health. So Cliff is just talking about how him, Glenn, Letitia, and his wife have had conversations. They have had problems, and now they're affecting one another, but they've gotten over that. Matt said something about needing to understand what Cliff's saying because, we can't understand a thing what Cliff said about subtitles. I think it was the fact that he mentioned the ladies have an issue, or when Latrice and Letitia have an issue, then everybody else will follow behind and not move forward. I don't know. It was something like that. I could be wrong. So then we go back to Glenn, wishing that he should have handled the Amanda situation differently. He wished that Cliff would have stood up and have shut Amanda down. But Glenn ended up putting all the blame on Amanda. Like, he didn't do anything with her. It was all something that she did. It's like, wow, Glenn, you really don't take accountability for nothing. And Matt said, we're not going to sit here and act like we have not all been guilty of flirting at times. So we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Glenn wants to pass it off like that's his personality. And I'm cordial, I'm smile, I can't help it. And then Cliff said, I told you stop smiling at them hoes. Did I not? What am I supposed to do? Walk away with a mad mug all the time? Well, do something that's not inviting these women, or do something that you're not trying to seek out these women. You know what I'm saying? So he said, for the sake of your marriage, yes, have a mean mug on your face. You got to be careful. But Cliff is again recognizing that Glenn never likes to take accountability or accept responsibilities for the things he does that has caused problems in his relationship. You need to change your way in order to keep your marriage and not always blame somebody else. So the fact that we are still on this Amanda situation where he's putting all the blame on Amanda, I don't have time for it. I don't care what you try to sell me, Glenn. You reached out to Amanda first. You wanted to see what was up with her first. And you made a move on her first. I don't care. Anyway, We end the scene with Stormy. Stormy, y'all know from Love Marriage Huntsville. She's also going to be headlining Belle Collective Birmingham. I'm so excited. We know that her and Latrice have been friends for a very, very long time while both navigating the hair industry. Stormy did hair, Latrice sold hair, and they have a great relationship. They both came from Mississippi, and they both have broke a lot of barriers of being strong, independent, successful women. And she came in town because she's building her mama a house. And we also talk about Latrice and the condos that they has just finished rebuilding and renovating. It's about 10 of them, but they can't move anybody in, as well as trying to bring these condos into the neighborhood. They're getting pushed back, and the neighborhood trying to make them seem to be a nuisance. Stormy said, "Is it a white neighborhood?" She said, "Yes, it is." But they also really can't move anybody in because they need proper licensing permit. They need to have the proper approval in order for them to have the ability to allow for people to live in those places from time to time. Well, why don't you think that? Okay, so have you gone through the proper channels to have those licenses? Have you gone through the proper channels of getting them? As far as this is a white neighborhood, is it a very unpleasant white neighborhood? Like there aren't any other businesses of other races available? Like is this area gentrified? Like I need to understand something about that. And why didn't you think that ahead before you bought the building? That you needed to have a proper permit in order for it to be sold as an Airbnb? Have you figured that out later? Like are you still going to get those licenses in order to have people move in from time to time? I want to know. So she doesn't want it to be viewed as racism, but that's how she feels. And they're just navigating how they reach a different bracket and how they have been successful. They have walked in different rooms, been part of different conversations. And we know Stormy was the first number one seller to sell 1 million in a live stream, but she wasn't supposed to be black. She wasn't supposed to have the face of being a black woman to have reached that, which is crazy. I celebrated her for that. I applaud Stormy for reaching that success. So then we talk about her fibroid surgery and how she's looking to recover, but then she's worried that Cliff might not be able to take over everything and run things smoothly. So she wants to cancel. So I don't think it's a good idea she should cancel her surgery. She should put her priorities over everything. And I know she is trying to put as much time as she can to teach Cliff on how to run the place. But I feel like you shouldn't overextend yourself, and you should not take away the fact that you need this surgery. You need it. And I think you need to just hire somebody alongside Cliff. You know what I'm saying? If you're training him about how he should run the business, then have somebody who already knows how to do it that can help him. Have somebody that already knows how to run the place while you are recuperating. Bring somebody in that you need help from time to time. Trust somebody that you can oversee your place and oversee everything that you do. So that way you won't feel like, I don't know what I'm going to do if Cliff's not going to be able to do it. Don't put all that stress on you. That's all you should do. Now, we are talking about Stormy's collaboration with Lala Anthony. We all know she's created her own body fragrance, her own body glaze and everything. We knew all of that happened. But this is just a scene that actually come to fruition to be shown on TV. And she's been doing it for the last 3 months. And they're going to present a lot and show it to the public. I love that they tied that in. That we're now seeing how everything came about for her collaboration with Lala as well as on Belle Collective Birmingham. I love how they tied that in. It's really, really dope. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. I do enjoy seeing Stormy. I'm happy to see Stormy. I know the way that Stormy ended her time with Love Marriage Huntsville, I really wasn't a fan of, but I have always supported her. I've always supported her business. I will continue to support her business. I'm willing to give Stormy another chance for me to show a different side to her. While she is back on reality TV, she is now headlining a show, and she is going to meet other different kind of women like her. I want to see. So with that being said, that's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.